Friends and professionals, we are back with another live episode of the Modern Lending Podcast, Season 4, but we're taking a break. We're taking a break from the road to 100 million and bringing all these great loan officers in to teach you guys what they're doing to continue to be excellent in their craft, because we have a chance to sit down with Anthony Hsieh, chairman, founder of loanDepot, industry pioneer, one of the greatest sports fishermen I've ever met. And that's a very small list. So that's you made the top of that one. We're going to have a robust conversation about the market today, what's going on, what to expect, and how we're going to navigate this thing. And we're excited to have you join us. Mikey, kick us off. All right, friends, we're back live. Anthony, thanks for coming in today, man. This is anytime you're like, hey, can I get you on to just come in and talk to the people down here on the street? It's always fun, man. It's awesome.
It's great seeing you, and I'm still taken back by how great the setup is. Nice, very nice.
So for those of us that are joining and they don't know your story very much, I always want to start with this. How did you get started in mortgage lending? Because it's a great story, and I want to frame it because we're going to fast forward to your career and where we're at today and how we face this market, and perspective really matters. And you've seen a lot of different things in this lending industry. So how'd you find the crazy world of mortgage?
Just like everybody else, by mistake.
Yeah, that's right. So, you just fall into it.
Yeah. Didn't know what I was getting into, but sure glad I fell into it. And best industry in the world. And lots of decades later, I'm still here.
So I got two questions from the early days because I love this. And for those of you that don't know, when I first met Anthony Hsieh, I thought he was this digital guy, direct to consumer, high tech. And for me as a in-street, in the market, originator, when I knew that this guy was something special was the time you told the story about delivering bagels and donuts to realtors in Cerritos or whatever it was.
Yep. Stick shift.
Yeah.
Acura.
Yeah.
My first year, 95,000 miles. I should have driven another 5,000 miles just so I can brag. And I drove 100,000 miles, but I was disciplined. I didn't see any success that year, so I paid more money for gas than commissions I made. But the second year all came together for me.
I love that story because, street originators have a respect for somebody that's felt the pain and done that work. And so it was really fun to hear. So I want to ask a second question. How did you start a direct-to-consumer mortgage company when that really wasn't a thing? How did that come into your brain? What
motivation has been consistent, and that was I just want to do right to our customers.
Yeah.
loanDepot and all of us have been champions for our customers.
Yeah.
We take that very, very seriously. And back then in the mid 80s, there's not a lot of regulation.
No.
So consumer protection was very much lacking.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, I don't know that came from the roots of being a son of an immigrant or not, but I just felt like a lot of consumers were being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And by creating more of an inside sales, which is direct to the consumer and still is direct to consumers, more inside sales where the traditional mortgage distribution is generally outside sales. It's all starting to blend, and you're seeing that
now it's radically different. But
you're seeing the disruption of real estate too. We can talk about that, right?
Definitely,
it's all size outside sales becoming inside sales, such as Redfin, etc. But I just felt like that if I control the process and control the pricing, I can deliver a better product to the customer. And that philosophy hasn't changed. And then when Dodd-Frank happened, they sided with me. So it took a little while.
It took time to figure it out. Well, let's talk a little bit about changing consumer behavior. I look back to hitching a ride in New York to watch you present at the Digital Mortgage Conference in 2018, I think it was. And then, in my opinion, you were casting some pretty large visions of what you think was going to happen in the industry. You talked about mortgage no longer being a monoline product. You talked a lot about this blend and hybridization of the of the loan officer to meet the digital customer. What are you seeing as the major trends in consumer behavior? And is it going further digital? Is it finding a balance? I mean, COVID threw a weird blanket on that, forcing us all into our homes and fully digital.
Yeah.
But what's your perspective on that today?
My perspective is that change is good. And I think that's the message I'm trying to get out to all of our team members, is that, when you have staleness and things that are not changing, although it feels comfortable,
that's right.
That's not good. Change is good. And guess what? We have a lot of change going on right now in the world. In addition to what's happening in Europe right now.
Yeah.
We have inflation. We have supply chain problems. We have inventory problems. Quality assets, whether it's real estate or not, is going through the roof. We have digital disruption that is increasing in its velocity. I don't think we realize how much we rely on new digital services such as food delivery or rideshare.
I made a joke today with our new hires, how pissed everyone got when Amazon went to 7 days in shipping during COVID.
Yeah.
Because how used we are to just getting everything tomorrow or same day.
Absolutely. And then certainly, mortgages, real estate, there's a lot of change, right? You have the iBuyer space.
That went through a radical little bump, it feels like, in the last year.
It did, but they're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
And then we're not gonna be the first to the party there, but we're gonna be a very, very fast follower. But all of these changes just creates an opportunity for creative individuals and companies to take advantage. So change is good. We want change.
How do you think that affects the loan officer? I know that's a broad question because there's multiple types of loan officers out there these days, and there's lots of things like that. But we were just on a new hire this morning, and I'm presenting to 100 new loan officers that joined the company, and so there's a lot of, and I think this market brings that out, a little bit of fear and uncertainty of what does the future hold for me.
So, as you know, we were one of the first contemporary models to make a bet on professional loan officers.
I know. Yes.
We started the company in 2000.
Did people tell you were crazy? Were there people
they did. I actually went to Wall Street and met with investment bankers, and they absolutely advised me against it. So the history is we started the company in 2010. In 2012, I decided that around that time, the buzzword is no brick and mortar. You got to digitize, right?
Yeah.
Well, we were digitizing and going to brick and mortar. So we were completely going against the grain in 2012. And then, of course, we got involved in 2013 through our first acquisition. That's how we met wonderful folks like you. But what loan officers needs to understand is that this is a phenomenal opportunity because this is what we know. Okay, this is what we know, and that is even today with all of the devices and digital tools, it's still very much concrete confirmation that home buyers want personalized service. Okay, the self-service models has not worked. So you throw out a great application out there without a human, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
we've seen that. So I think we can all take a deep breath and say that the digital tools, it becomes a tool in the hands of the right operator. But without the operator operating the tool, it's not working. So self-service is not working. Push button, get mortgage, didn't work.
You need the human.
It didn't work. Okay. So, and of course, that large competitor that we love to compete with today is originating half of their loans through their wholesale channel through a mortgage broker.
In market. Yeah.
That's right. So, so we need to understand that all of this change, along with real estate, is a good thing, but we have to wait enough to see what consumers are going to do and what they prefer.
Yeah.
So, but all of that change ultimately is going to be great for creative individuals and companies that are willing to try something different.
So you've always pushed the envelope on that, in my opinion, as I've watched your career as part of the company. and also just understanding and seeing what's going on. I mean, you've always pushed the envelope from technology, from real estate, Mellow Home, from understanding the lead velocity and should those go to in-market professionals or not. And you've always been pivoting and moving. Is there another pivot on the horizon that is evident to you, or is it just kind of we're in a little bit of a gotta be ready to chuck and jive type of thing?
Trying to figure out how to answer that,
Yeah.
and that is, it's critically important that every day your trains must leave the station on time.
Right.
Okay. So, and then you have to make it better.
Yes.
Right. You got to make your customer experience better, but make no mistake about it. When, our organization, has nearly, last time we reported, we had 4.5% market share. And that means we fund nearly 1 out of 20 mortgages in this country now. And we have to do each one of them with the utmost level of delighting our customers. So that is critically important. But where the model really shines for our organization with our strategic assets is the fact that we are one of only 2 finance companies, and I'm not just saying mortgage company. I'm talking about finance companies, consumer finance companies, and if you even want to throw in real estate companies.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, we're all going after the same core customer with different products.
That's right.
Okay. So I think that's the underlying moment that is going to collide at some point in the future. I can't tell you when, but I will tell you it's probably going to happen sooner than we think. And that is, once you expand adjacencies, it's just the same core customer.
Yeah.
So we're one of the few companies that has scale in marketing. So we drive 10 million plus leads every single year. And we started as a monoline company that provides mortgages. And then we became a very diversified distribution model because we have wholesale, retail, a JV, and direct lending or direct to the consumer. But it's still one product, which is mortgage. That's going to expand into real estate. That's going to expand into title. That's going to expand into all types of other products and services. Same goes for other companies that are focused on our same core customer that are coming into mortgage. They're trying to focus. So at some point, it's going to collide. And when that happens, it's good for the consumer because the consumer is going to have an opportunity for competition through a single brand approach that has bundled services and bundled value.
So that can feel scary, that comment, because I like change. I thrive in change. I don't like stagnation because I get bored and I want to mix it up and break the egg and figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
But that kind of viewpoint I think is accurate because we don't have to look very far to see other industries that have done the same thing. Amazon connected a bookseller and a book buyer, and now they connect everything in that same customer.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. And I've talked to people about it and shared this vision, and they go, yeah, I can't wait. I'd love an app that did that. I'd love something that could get me a contractor, could get me this, could take care of my loan, could do all this stuff in one place where I'm not, fragmented. But how does the industry get there tactically? And I mean that, Amazon ran at a negative for a decade. They just ran on a vision and a dream and didn't make money forever.
Yeah.
It almost feels like the mortgage industry and those companies, we still got to make money while the train's going.
Yeah.
And innovate, which means it just seems very hard.
It is very hard. There's a few things we have to keep in mind. Number one is the total addressable market is not going to shrink. Now we're going to have different markets, right? It could different housing cycles, different interest rate cycles. That's going to dictate originations in number of homes sold. But the addressable market in our business is never going to shrink. There's going to be more homes and a higher average loan amount. So there's more customers as household formation, population growth, and all of that. So that's great protection for us.
Yeah.
But we need to keep in mind that things are turning positive for mortgage industry and for loanDepot, particularly because your total addressable market is increasing over time.
Mm-hmm.
And your adjacencies is going to give you more opportunities for products and services, which is also an opportunity for us to increase our revenue. So as things change, and we all know that business is competition and competition is good.
Yeah.
So as things change, you have to have the spirit to compete. So are you going to change with the time?
Yeah.
Or are you going to get left behind? Because nothing stays the same forever.
Well, so let me go a little deeper on that product and ancillary product and all that stuff, because pre-mortgage crisis, the mortgage product bench was very deep. Then we had the crisis and mortgage product got really small. And then it started to creep back up over the last decade until COVID happened. And then it got really, really small again. And when I say small, I'm talking about things like non-QM, which is kind of waking back up. But, it got really tight again. And now it's kind of coming back out. Where do you see mortgage product going? And then when you talk about these ancillary products, what do you mean by that? Or what was that? What could those be?
Sometimes, folks in the mortgage industry and me included, we have this kind of blinders on, kind of like what racehorses do. You just kind of look ahead.
Stay in my lane.
Yeah. So, Dodd-Frank has changed a lot. And recall, our organization was the first mortgage company that reached out and built our own personal loan engine.
Yeah.
Right. We got into the personal loan market, I believe in 2015.
Yeah.
There was a liquidity crash, just like happens a lot in lending. And the result of that in 2018, we decided to get out of 2019, we decided to halt our personal loan product. But let me give you a little bit of facts on that. So interest rates are going up. Rate and term refis are dwindling. Cash out refis are increasing. Jumping. The top 5 personal loan lenders are doing 60,000 personal loans a month, in which 85% are homeowners.
Yeah.
So everybody needs to take notes here.
Yeah.
We're losing our customers.
Yeah.
To a non-mortgage company.
Yeah.
Okay. That customer is taking out a personal loan around 5 to 7%, doing their kitchen remodel.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now the bank is not helping either, because there's no relevant HELOC market anymore. Correct?
No.
Okay. So because of our own self-regulation and our own lack of creativity, our customers are going elsewhere.
Yep.
Okay. Now what happens when these powerful companies start to offer mortgage? So these are the things that are scary.
Yeah, they're threats.
That's right.
They're very real.
Absolutely. In the 60,000 fundings a month right now, where 85% of those fundings are homeowners taking out money, and they're not taking it out on their home. And trust me, every one of those customers have equity in their homes.
I was going to say, they have equity.
We are sitting on the all-time richest home equity position in this country's history.
It's crazy.
Right? I mean, if you were 80% loan to value last year, you're 55% loan to value this year.
It's wild.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. But they're not taking out mortgages. They're taking out personal loans.
Yeah.
And we read that early on. And certainly you can read between the lines. And we announced with our recent hiring that we're going to get back into fintech.
Yep.
But the reason why is simple. We have to come up with products and services and adjacencies to satisfy our core customer.
Or else they'll get it somewhere else.
Or else they're going to get it somewhere else. And we have to remember, mortgages are complicated.
Yeah.
Mortgages are chaotic. And it's very difficult for the outside industry to figure it out.
Yeah.
Zillow's trying right now.
That's right.
Right. And
100%.
Others are trying right now. They haven't figured it out at a scale way. But what happens when they do figure it out?
Yeah. I mean, it's very arrogant to think that they're not coming after it.
That's right. That's right. And they have publicly stated that they are.
Oh, right? I know. Yeah. If you read it, they tell you what's happening.
Whether it's Zillow or Redfin or Open Door, they're all trying to figure it out. And they have to.
Yeah.
It's too big of a product for them not to offer.
Yeah. So let's do a little crystal ball part of this session.
Okay.
Because it's very volatile right now. The world, inflation, the war, there's just lots of uncertainty, and uncertainty creates a lot of chaos for people.
Yep.
Where do you see this market going? And let's just talk about just this year. We're already a quarter through, crazily enough. But what do you think this year is going to turn out to be?
I think right now I can only tell you as a parent, and I can tell you as an American, I'm very concerned about what's happening in Europe.
Yeah.
And I'm very concerned about the overall activities in that war. To me, I think what's going to happen for the rest of this year from an economic standpoint has a lot of relations to what's going to happen in the next few months to few weeks overseas. So
that's kind of a wait and see thing.
I think you just got to be prepared of the unknown.
So apart from that, which is, it's going to be a tough year. I'd like to talk a little bit. Let's go to actually one of the questions, Mikey, if you can pull back up my StreamYard view. I like this question. It was from Isaac. And he said, what is the single best piece of advice you can give a newer originator in today's market? Because there's new blood coming in right now.
Good.
That don't have.
We need you.
We do.
We need you.
So what will you share with them?
Control what's in your power. Ignore the noise. That's it.
I like that a lot.
Control what's in your power.
What do you feel is in their power?
Attitude.
Yeah.
Work ethic. Being dependable, reliable. Being willing to learn.
Yeah.
And ignore the noise as best you can. We're all humans, but attitude is important.
Isaac, it's funny. If you're a brand new originator, I will never forget being a young originator, going into the office at 8:15 on my first day in the office to find the doors locked and nobody there. I'm not joking. I was 23 and a half, Yep. and I just moved to a new office that opened up in Newport Beach. And I got there at 8:15 and I had on my little polo shirt and I knock, supposed to meet the new, boss, and no one was there. And no one showed up till like 10. And the other thing, Isaac, at 3:00, I look around and half the office is gone or plus. And so when Anthony's talking about hard work, this is going to be kind of controversial statement, but I think a lot of loan officers don't work a full 8-hour day. And I just, my personal experience. And so I want you to pay attention. The loan officers that are in the office at 8:15 and leaving at night, they're probably still working nights and weekends, but those are the ones you want to hang out with, because those are the people that can help you, mentor you, and then show you what a work ethic looks like in the industry. Yeah, Brian, back to basics.
I think, I want to add on to that. And
Yeah.
That is, we're all individuals.
That's right.
We all have different motivations.
Fair.
Right. So do whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
But if success, in your profession is important, if it's important enough to you, you're going to make it a priority.
Yep.
If it's not important enough to you and you still want success, then, you're kind of out of touch, because success comes from the effort and the hard work. And that typically is a primary ingredient. Work ethic is very important.
Let's talk a little more about the crystal ball stuff, Anthony. In a condensing market, which it feels like we're in, whether that changes or not, is up to the Lord. But there's a lot of, do you see a competitors going out of business? Do you see a mortgage and plotometer thing happening in our industry, given this, the early innings we are in this rising rate environment?
I don't, and I'll tell you why.
Please.
Certainly there will be consolidation. There'll be companies that decide that probably doesn't make sense for them anymore. They'll either sell or they'll decide to shrink or something like that. That certainly is going to happen. But what typically kills mortgage companies is not lack of business, is usually lack of cash.
Yeah.
And the cash component of it is generally generated by capital markets.
Yeah.
Or risk to credit. I don't see that. Defaults are well in check.
Yep.
Capital markets has gotten a lot more sophisticated. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the year you're going to see these inflationary pressures ease. And I wouldn't be surprised that rates come back down a bit. But that, again, is not my prediction.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I wouldn't be surprised knowing that there's some fundamental things going on in the world right now. When you almost cripple a giant economy like Russia,
yeah,
that's going to have an effect.
Yeah.
Towards the financial markets. Their stock market has been closed for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They're about to default on their debt. So that is not isolated to that country.
That's right.
Money is fluid.
Yeah.
So we just need to be very, very, very cautious of how that can affect our industry and, more importantly, loanDepot.
Let's kind of land the plane, so to speak, in this direction. We were talking before we went live just about uncertainty creates a lot of emotion, especially in salespeople. We thrive on confidence. We thrive on togetherness.
Yeah.
And we haven't been together in a long time, and I think we got to get back physical. But having been in different cycles in your professional career, what advice do you have? There's a lot of people that have never experienced a cycle in our industry right now that have been here for 10 years, never had a cycle. A lot of companies that have been here 10 years, never had a cycle.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for those originators as they're facing down this uncertainty? What perspective could you share with them?
The most important thing is psychological.
Yeah.
Our industry is cyclical and volatile.
Yeah.
But it is that change that makes our industry so fascinating and so special. So interest rates will go up, interest rates will come down. That is going to be a constant. That's never going to change. You're going to have economic cycles where a lot more people buy homes versus not, and that's never going to change. And we just need to understand that ultimately supply and demand is going to take over, and keep a positive attitude, increase your work ethic, control what you can, and this industry will be kind to those that dedicate themselves to it. I'm a perfect example of it.
Yeah, my dad always said, if you take your career in lending and just level out the ups and downs, you're probably going to be having a pretty dang good career. If you just can save money, be smart, and just take care of yourself in the waves.
It is the best industry on earth because it's an industry that rewards performers.
Well, so final question for you.
Okay.
You just announced the addition of a new teammate, new division of loanDepot, a new creation, new entity. What are you excited about that's coming at us?
I'm excited about the unknown. I'm excited about the change.
I know you are. I like you're this wartime CEO where it's like when the things are hard, you get excited.
I do. I do. I show up even more.
Yeah, you do.
When it's time, when it's tough. So, company's 12 years old.
Yeah.
And we're very, very committed to building loanDepot 2.0.
Yeah.
And it started officially 8 months ago when we announced the hiring of George Brady. That is a absolute top tier, grade A executive.
Yeah, he's my neighbor now, by the way.
I know.
He moved right across the street. It's great. I'm keeping his house later.
Yeah. George Brady managed 7,000 technologists at Capital One, and he absolutely elevated Capital One. And we're lucky to have George Brady. And now we hired Zanette.
Yeah.
There's going to be more where that came from. We're going to retool. We're going to reshuffle. We're going to realign. And we're going to do what we do best, and that's capture market share.
What does loanDepot 2.0 mean to you?
Continue to lead the category.
Yeah. Fun times ahead.
Very fun. It's unknown, but change is good. Remember, change is good.
Let me ask you one more question. You're wearing a War Heroes on Water t-shirt. I know that's something that's very near and dear to your heart.
Yes, sir.
I'd love to have you just kind of share why you got involved in that program and what it means to you, because it's touching a lot of lives. It's making a big impact. And I guarantee, I know that you didn't know the impact it was hurt to make in the beginning of this whole thing.
No, and there's just so many ways that I can describe the event. But I think the most impactful for me and those that get involved is you have direct human interaction that makes a difference in someone's life. Yeah. And I'll just share a quick story that on year 3, one vet came up to me at the tournament awards dinner and said, "Mr. Hsieh, can I speak to you off to the side?" I said, "Sure." So we walked off to the side of the stage, and he said to me, "Is it possible, sir, for me to fly down next month with my son? He's 11 years old. I really want to come down and visit you. I can visit you on the boat, in your office, at loanDepot, whatever is more convenient for you. And I promise I only need 15 minutes of your time. I said, of course, that's not an issue. And you know, I'll give you my cell number. Just call me or text me directly and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And he says, thank you, sir. He says, the reason why I want my son to come meet you is I want him to see the man that saved his father's life. And I just couldn't, I couldn't even function at that point. But it's comments like that, half a dozen comments like that each and every year that it just grabs my heart.
Yeah.
And I talk to these guys almost every day. I call the vet on the way here. So I'm very much into their life. They become my friends.
Yeah.
They're authentic. They're real. They're all about team.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, they are all about purpose. What they told me is, you know, Anthony, what we do is the perfect purpose. You know, we have a purpose.
Yeah.
Their purpose is perfect. And that is they defend the Constitution of our country and they defend our freedom. That's pretty cool.
It's really cool.
It's pretty cool.
Well, thank you for that work. It's incredible. And thank you for everybody that tuned in today to hang out with us on this live episode of the Modern Lending Podcast. There's a couple questions that I didn't get to, but with Anthony's time, I'll get you on social and respond. Anthony, thank you for hanging out with us today. You got Colorado, you got the desert, you got Covey, you got the East Coast, you got a lot of heat people hanging out. So any final words to the mortgage industry out there?
Yeah, change is good. Bring it on. Let's rock it. It's fun times.
Mikey, play us out. Thanks, everybody.